Yo, what's up, my fellow high-level users? Welcome to part 2 of the Tags Made Easy training. If somehow you got to this page and you didn't realize there was a part 1, there'll be a link in the description, or there'll be a button on the page, depending on where you're watching this, to take you back to part 1 of the Tags Made Easy training, which I would suggest you stop right now, go watch that first, because it sets the entire context for what we're going to talk about in this part of the training. Now, if we jump into here, you'll remember, since you've watched that first part, that the first part of the Tags Made Easy training was all about eliminating brain fog, recognizing that we're never going to get organized in HighLevel if we're not first organized in our head, like in our brain, right? So we eliminated the brain fog and got really clear about how to organize tags, just like how to think about them so we didn't feel overwhelmed. We introduced tag types, we introduced tag groups, and recognized that that grid and that worksheet that I gave you, again, if you're still watching this but haven't watched part 1, go over there because you can get access to the worksheet. How that helps make it really easy to understand how we're going to organize tags. Now, that's great that they're organized in our brain, but the next step is we got to get it into HighLevel and make sure that tags stay organized in HighLevel. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how do we translate and transfer the organizational system in our brain into HighLevel so that our tags always stay organized. So first part of this training is organize it now in the software, specifically inside HighLevel. And here's the fundamental foundational rule about organizing tags in really any CRM, but definitely in HighLevel, is you organize your tags by how you name them. The naming structure that you choose for your tags is the only tool you have to actually keep your tags organized so they don't end up like this big old huge pile, like the Post-it note example that I showed you in the first training. So with that in mind, we've got to define our tag naming rules. And I talked about this in the first part of the training. The first thing that has to happen when we decide how we're going to name our tags is that our tag names have to be clear. And there's 3 pieces of information that have to be immediately obvious for every single tag that we either have right now or that we create in the future. Number 1, the tag detail. What is the tag itself? Number 2, which tag group does this live in? Which tag group is this tag a part of? And then number 3, which type of tag is this? That's got to be immediately clear. And then as we go to name tags, we have to be consistent, because if we're inconsistent in how we name tags, then it doesn't matter what organization we got in our head, because they're going to be all over the place. So consistency means we have the same structure for our naming. So we don't want some tags that like start with tag detail, then we talk about tag group. We also don't want some tags that are named where it's like tag group, then tag type, then tag detail. Like every tag is going to be the same. And we've got to be consistent no matter who's creating the tags, no matter how they're creating the tags, no matter where they're creating the tag. It doesn't matter. We want the tag names to be super consistent. So what I'm going to do is just give you let's start with the basic structure around tag names. And I've done this a lot. I'm just going to tell you how to do this to make it easy, because I've spent, between me and my team over the last 20 years, we've worked literally with thousands of entrepreneurs. We've probably created hundreds of thousands of tags, if not millions of tags. It would be the low million. I don't know how many millions of tags. We've created a lot of tags, and we have spent a ridiculous amount of time thinking about how to organize tags so that we're not overcomplicating it, but that we have just the right amount of information so it saves us time when we're trying to look at our tags, or when we're looking like at a contact record to see what the tag means, all that. So here's the basic structure. I'm just going to tell you to use this. It's tag group, tag detail. And I'm going to give you some examples in a second. Now, just so we're really clear, I'm not going to talk about where tag type or how tag type fits into the tag name yet. We're going to come back around. I just want to start with the basics, where it is my opinion that every tag you create in the future and every tag that you have should be named tag group, tag detail. Okay. Now, let me give you some examples. Let me show you why this is really helpful and really valuable. So tag group, tag detail. We're just going to go with the example that we had out of from part 1 of the training. So one of those tag groups was the ultimate case study. And we've got button history and status tags, which again, we're not going to worry about button history and status right now as far as the naming. I just want to show you the example of how tag group, tag detail just makes this really clean and simple. So ultimate case study is the tag group. We've got our detail in here with our start automation, stop automation, opted in, clicked, etc. We got all those tags, right? So when we start to name these, what I'm suggesting is that if you were creating tags for this scenario, you would name them ultimate case study, start automation. Now, just a couple of housekeeping items. I am bolding start automation purely for this video, for you to easily be able to see, okay, ultimate case study is the tag group. The bolded part is the tag detail, okay? Inside HighLevel, you can't bold parts of your tag names. In fact, they don't even let you do uppercase letters. Everything's lowercase. So the point of this is just to see the structure, right? So it would be ultimate case study, start automation. Ultimate case study, stop automation. You get the idea. Ultimate case study, opted in, clicked, watched, converted, did not convert, and then active. Every one of them will have the tag group at the beginning. So tag group, tag detail. The reason why we do this is because now every time I look at this tag, I know exactly which group it's a part of because it's what I start with. So they're organized in group. The other benefit is when I go to sort my tags inside HighLevel, they're going to sort by the group that they're a part of. Okay. Now, you might be looking at these tag names being like, well, those are kind of long. And I would agree. They are kind of long. I would shorten them. What I would do is I'd make like an acronym. So I do UCS for this. That's as short as possible without sacrificing clarity. So I want my tag names to be as short as possible. In fact, if it were me, I'd even go a step further and it'd be UCS start. The word automation is unnecessary. Obviously, that's what it's starting. UCS stop. UCS opted in. I could do UCS clicked. If it's in UCS, right? If the name says UCS, what else are they clicking to? UCS watch. What else are they watching? I don't need all those extra words. So I would even condense it shorter. The key though is this. We want them to be as short as possible without sacrificing clarity. There can be no confusion when I look at the tag, which tag group it's a part of, and then what the tag detail is. All right, let me give you another example, and then we'll show them side by side. You can see how it becomes really helpful to have this tag naming structure for all of your tags. So let's go to the sales process that we talked about in the first example in part 1 of the training. We got quote to close. And so I would name these quote to close start automation, quote to close scheduled, quote to close stop automation on down the line, right? So quote to close is the tag group, the tag detail. And again with this is unnecessarily long. I would do like Q to C, and then I might even start to chop off some of the unnecessary words that are on there just to make it really, really obvious. Now, when we put these side by side, you start to see how, imagine if you look at all your tags, maybe you only have 50 right now. Maybe you have 200, maybe you have 500, maybe you have thousands. If you just pull up a list of tags and you have them organized by the part of your client journey, by the tag group, you can just sort them and it's like, oh, they're already organized into like the piles that we talked about in part 1 of the training. So it helps make these really, really clear and really organized, which is what we want, all right? So that, moving forward, every tag you ever create, and then also as we clean up tags that already exist, tag group, tag detail. It gives you context for where that tag lives, tells you exactly what the tag is, good to go. Okay, now let's talk about tag type. There's actually 2 different ways that you can get tag type into the tag name. One of them is what I think you should do, and the other one I think is unnecessary, but there might be a scenario. It's unnecessary unless it's necessary, but for most people it's not necessary, which means you probably are going to use the first option. The second one, you'll know if you're going to use it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the first option with tag type is you actually do nothing because it's already obvious. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. The other option is that you actually are going to embed tag type into the tag name. And then I'll show you what that looks like, and you can choose which one you're going to do. In fact, in about 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, you're going to pick your tag naming structure, okay? So let's start with tag type where you do nothing. So our tag types here are button, history, and status. When I go to look at the tag names, though, just check this out. UCS start automation. Which tag type is that? Obviously, it's a button. Do I need to put button in the tag name? No. Stop automation. Obviously, it's a button. If I come down to Q2C, start automation is obviously a button tag. I don't need to put it in the name. Now, this other one, Q2C scheduled, Calendly, that could be confused as a history tag if somebody else came along that wasn't a part of the creation of it. So I would just rename it to say mark as scheduled. And then I know it's a button tag. And then if I go look at my history tags, UCS opted in, click to case study, well, obviously those are history tags. Like I don't need it in the name to tell me that. Same thing with all the history tags for Q2C. Obviously they're history tags. It makes it really, really easy. And then status is the same thing. Like I'm not looking at UCS active like, I think that's a button tag, or I think that's a history tag. No, it's not. It's obviously status. Same thing with future sales call and TIO, right? So you don't need to do anything. This is what I think you ought to do by default. Unless when I show you this next one, you're like, oh, that's what I need. Not, I think I might need that one, but like, no, that's what I need right now and I know why and I can make a case for it. So unless that happens in the next like 30 seconds, then this is how you're gonna name your tags. You just don't worry about putting tag type in at all because it's already obvious. All right, so that's tag type, just don't do anything, it's obvious. Second scenario is tag type where you embed it in the tag name, and here's what it would look like. So take button, and for UCS start automation, we would put button at the end, like in parentheses or in brackets or something, so that in the tag name I can clearly see that it's a button tag. Now, a couple of things to know. Actually, let me go through and I'll show you all these, right? So stop would be button, these would be history, this would be status, and then I got button, history, and status. So the italicized part of this is not going to show up in HighLevel. This is an important piece to remember when we look at this, because this is a little bit misleading because your tag name, in here when you look at this video, it's regular font for UCS, bolded font for start automation, and then buttons italicized. which helps you see the different pieces. In HighLevel, what's going to happen is it's all going to be lowercase, and there's going to be no bolding and no italicizing. So what actually happens when you put button or history or whatever in there at the end is the detail in the middle starts to get lost. You actually have to stop and like find it when you're reading your tag names, which I don't think merits why you would put that at the end of the name. Now, again, you might have a scenario where based on your specific tag types that you picked in part 1 of the training, you're like, no, I need them in the tag name. If that's the case, great, do it. Otherwise, just don't. You don't need to, okay? Now, another scenario here that you might do rather than putting it at the end is you might want to put it at the beginning. You could do that if you want. If you put it at the beginning when you go to sort, like in HighLevel or whatever, it's going to put all your button tags together, then all your history tags and all your status tags. You might like that idea. It's up to you. I still think it's overkill, but it is something you could do. You could also put it in the middle. It's like, no, I want my tags, if I sort them, maybe group by tag group, but then I want to go tag type, and then I want to put the detail at the end. It'll help make it easier to see the detail, whatever. Again, I just don't think it's necessary, but you could do that. You could do that if you wanted to. All right, so again, you could embed it in the name, but unless you've got a real scenario like, no, I know I need that, then you're going to do the first one, which is nothing, because it's already obvious. So that leads us to a little bit of homework assignment, which is not really a homework assignment like go home and do it. It's just do it right now. Pick your tag naming rules. Which one are you going to use? There's only 4 options. Here's what they are. 1, you're going to name all of your tags, tag group, tag detail, and that's it. Tag type will just be obvious in the name of the tag. 2, it's going to be tag group, tag detail, and then you're going to put tag type at the end. 3, you put tag type at the beginning, then tag group, then tag detail. Or 4, you go tag group, then tag type, then tag detail. And again, unless you have a really, really strong case for why you're doing the second, third, or fourth option, we should already be done, and you should be like, no, cool, it's tag group, tag detail. In the event that you need a minute, hit pause on the video, do a little, walk some laps and like chew on it, pick one, and then come back, because then what we're going to do is talk about, well, now how do I make it easy for everybody to actually do what I just decided? And one thing I want to be clear on here, this is not a super important, like which one you choose doesn't really matter. What matters is that you choose one and commit to it. So just decide and pick one and then roll with it. You can change it later, and what I'm about to show you is it'll be really easy to change it later if you change your mind. What I want to do is get you out of waffling back and forth on how tag names are done. I want you and your organization, everyone that works with you, to know this is how we name tags, period. Okay? All right, I'm going to assume that you took the time to pause if you needed to, walk around or whatever. You have now picked one of these. So let's just recap where we are. We started part 1 of the training, getting really clear up in the brain about how we're going to organize these tags. So we're like, clear, we got it. Now we've picked a naming convention that we're going to use so that our tags will be organized in the software. Now the last piece is we got to actually make it so that human beings will do it. We got to make it easy to obey. Okay, so let's talk about this just for a little bit. What are we trying to obey? That number 1, our tags are clear. Tag detail, tag group, tag type. Every tag I look at, I know exactly what it is. We've picked a naming convention to make that happen. The next piece is we actually have to be consistent when we create the tags so that they stay clean and organized. So it's got to be the same structure. Whatever you just picked has to be the same structure every single time somebody is inside HighLevel naming, editing tags or whatever. Doesn't matter who's doing it. You, team member, contractor, whatever, it does not matter. Doesn't matter how they're doing it, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where, like it has to be the same every single time. And when I say that, what I'm talking about, here are some common scenarios where we're creating or editing tags, or managing tags, where we got to make sure that it's easy for people to obey. So the first one is we're creating new tags for an entirely new tag group. This would be like, hey, I'm launching a new lead magnet, new part of my client journey. I'm launching a new sales webinar. I'm launching a whole new product line or whatever. It's a new one. I got to go create a whole bunch of new tags for a new tag group. So that's one scenario. Another scenario is I've already got a tag group. Like I got a lead magnet, but I'm expanding it. I'm enhancing it. I need to go create new tags, but put them into that tag group. And I got to make sure that I name them the right way so they show up in the tag group. We're renaming a tag group, like an entire one. Maybe we want to just rename the whole thing and mark it as archived. Maybe the name's really long. We're like, oh, I want to shorten it, like Brad talked about. We're going to do that. But I'm renaming an entire tag group and then all of the tags that are in that tag group, right? Maybe I'm just renaming some individual tags. I'm trying to shorten them down or make them more clear. Maybe I have a tag that accidentally got named and put it into one tag group, but it's like, no, actually it lives over here. I want to move it. I actually just did this the other day with about 4 or 5 tags. I had to move it into a different tag group. Maybe we're just doing a cleanup. So you have a bunch of tags, they're not organized at all. And we're like, well, I want to go do these tag groups. So I got to go rename all my tags so that now they're organized. This is just the initial cleanup that you would do here. Maybe you want to like slightly modify some tag names because you're building automations, you're having a hard time finding. We just want to make it easier to go find the tags that you're using. And then this last one, technically doesn't have to do with naming or editing tags, but it's like sometimes it's nice to have a really simple tool just to go delete the tags that I want to delete, right? So we're going to make it easy for humans to be able to do all of this. And as far as I can tell, there's only 2 ways to make sure that it's easy to obey and that people follow the rules. And the first one is that you have a team full of rule followers who are hyper crazy disciplined. So this picture is kind of like, it's my picture of the nerdy, like anal retentive, like everything has to be done exactly by the book every single time. And like, that's like the top priority in my life is that everything gets done perfectly every single time. So if you and your entire team already have this DNA and already operate, then you're probably good. And you'll probably can go make this happen. Everybody just remembers it's got to be tag name, whatever, and then they know what all the tag, or tag group tag detail. They know all the tag group names, so nothing ever gets put out of place. Technically, theoretically, this is an option. In reality, it's not. I have yet to meet a person or a team where the entire team is this disciplined, especially about tags, which are extremely important in how you're automating your business and building a happy client factory. But when you're going to build them, they're like one of the low-level pieces. It's really hard to just stay hyper-disciplined, right? The other way, outside of this sort of theoretical pipe dream, hoping that everyone's going to be like on point every single time, is that you have a tool that does 2 things. 1, it actually saves you time in creating and managing your tags. And then 2, it actually forces the organization so you get a better result and you get better organization. And with that said, I want to introduce you to a tool. It's called TagGenie. So I have a company called 6th Division I mentioned. We do coaching around using automation to build a happy client factory. We have worked with thousands of entrepreneurs. We have built hundreds of thousands, if not millions of tags. And we have spent so much time coming up with a tag naming convention. And then what we realized is we were not these people and neither were our clients. So a long time ago, we built the tool. And then people saw it and they're like, hey, can I use that tool? So 6th Division got together with Plus This, which is the software company that I own. And we said, hey, we should create a tool that people can use. And the result was this little baby called TagGenie. And it is the easiest way to create, edit, manage, clean up tags inside HighLevel. It's going to save you and your team a ridiculous amount of time. So I'm going to actually jump in and I'm going to show you HighLevel. I'm going to show you TagGenie and how easy this thing is to use. So here's the deal. Before I do, one thing to note about TagGenie is when I show you everything we're doing, you can add anybody on your team, any contractors, into your TagGenie account. So you can set them up as users, they log in, and then when they use it, so anything I show you, it won't matter who's doing it, it's gonna all follow the same tag naming convention. That's the first thing to be aware of is this is not just a tool for you, it's for you or anybody on your team, number 1. Number 2, if you happen to be somebody who is, like you're not just watching this for your own business, but you help other people and you got like multiple clients where you're managing their HighLevel accounts, maybe you have sub-accounts and you wanna manage tags for them, with TagGenie, you can create an account level that actually lets you just connect in multiple accounts. It's what we do on the 6th Division. So we've got all of our clients listed and we can go in and manage their tags. And then they also have access to be able to go in and manage their tags. So there's a free trial on it just up front. You can go get in, no credit card required. You can start using it. You can create all the tags you want. You can clean up all the tags you want and never actually convert to a paying client. That's totally fine. So if you want to get access to the free trial, go to taggenie.com and then there's a link to the free trial. If you watch to the end of the video, when we're done, I'm going to tell you where you can go to get access to a coupon code that will save you up to 66% off the TagGenie subscription when you're ready to convert to a paid plan. I think once you start to play with it, you're gonna be like, this thing's freaking awesome. I want to have this, and it's already like stupid cheap. And then this coupon code that I'll give you, if you stick around to the end, will make it so that it's like stupider, cheaper, whatever I would say there. Okay. Anyway, enough about that. Let's jump in. Let's actually get into the software. Let me show you what we got going on here. So here we are inside HighLevel, and I put just a handful of tags. It's just like I just made up a sub account just for the sake of this video, and I just plugged in some tags. You'll notice there's no real naming convention or structure. There's only 7, so it doesn't really feel that overwhelming. You start to create a bunch of tags, and then you'll start to realize, oh man, you get 250 or 100 or 500 or 4,000 or whatever it is, and this gets really overwhelming. So these are here because I'm going to show you how easy it is to clean them up. If we jump over to this tab, we're going to get inside TagGenie. And what I've done right now is I've just connected the very first step when you sign up for your trial. It's going to say, cool, you're in, connect your account. So I did the connecting of the account. You land on this page. So you'll get to here and then you just name it. So I'm going to name this HighLevel Example. Oh, except I'm going to learn how to spell. There we go. HighLevel Example. And then it says, cool, let's go pick your tag naming structure. So I'm going to pick my tag naming structure. And the first thing here is, what are your tag types? Do you want to use tag types? What are they? It by default sets up button history and status, but you can change them here. If I want to rename this to trigger or system or whatever, I can rename it. If I want to rename any of these, if I want to add another one, I can add another one. If I want to delete some and I don't want to use status, I can do that. So you just decide. Whatever you did in the part 1 of the training, whatever you wrote down on the worksheet, you just make sure it's set up here, hit save the tag naming structure, and then we are off to the races. That's it. That's all you got to do. Everything's set up and ready to go. Now we come in here and say, cool, let's create our first tag group. So I'm going to just walk through an example. I'll walk through the ultimate case study example and show you how easy it is to create the tags and then to edit them and then to add some. And then I'll show you how easy it is to clean up tags with the ones that are already in HighLevel. All right, so we come in here and say create new tag group, and then we give it a name. So this is ultimate case study. The button tags we had for that were start automation. I just got to learn to type, that's all. Start automation, stop automation. And then our history tags, if I remember correctly, were opted in, clicked to case study. Wow, that was pretty bad. Clicked to case study, watched case study, converted, and then didn't convert, right? That's what we had in our example. And then our status tags were just active. We only had one. So I got it right here. This is it. I can hit create this tag group. It'll go create them all in HighLevel. Let me just really quickly, let me show you what you would have to do that inside HighLevel. This is where I get to like, I don't know how people create tags without TagGenie. So I come in here and I go new tag. And then I got to go, okay, this is ultimate case study, colon. And I'd probably copy this knowing I'm going to have to use it again, which is a tool that I would use, but then people forget and they type it out and they mistype it and then things are out of whack, right? So ultimate case study, start automation. And then I hit create. And then I'm going to go back and delete this in a second. You'll see why. But I hit create. And then I got to wait for this thing to load and do its thing. And then this pops up and says, hey, your tag was added. And I know I want to create like 10 in a row. So I got to wait for this. Oh, I got to hit, okay, now it's gone. Now I can click back to the new tag button. It's like, no, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. So let me come down here. Let me just delete this real quick because I want to show you how much easier it can be. I don't want to click through all those. It was actually painful to click through and create all of these just for the sake of this example. All right, so that goes away. Let's come back over into TagGenie. And I type this in, type these in like this. You already saw me do that. Hit create this tag group. Except actually hit create this tag group. All right, so TagGenie says, hey, we did our work here. Let's go sync up with HighLevel. And then I come over here and I hit refresh. And once this thing loads up here, it's like, all right, look, we created them all. So let me show some more per page so you can see all of these, right? So we've got ultimate case study, all the tags are in here. Super easy. Way easier. Like I already saved a ridiculous amount of time over trying to click this new tag button, right? Now, let's say we have this in and we're like, oh wait, but Brad talked about making short tag names. I actually want this to be UCS, not ultimate case study. So if you want, you could go through and you could click edit, 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 which sounds horrible. Or you just come over here and say, hey, I'm just gonna edit this tag group real quick. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna go UCS and that's it. And then we're gonna come down here and we're gonna hit update this tag group. We'll let TagGenie do its syncing, talking thing with HighLevel here. Let that bad boy run, doing its work, doing its work, doing its work, and we're done. Okay, let's go back over here into HighLevel and let's hit refresh. And then what we'll see is rather than me clicking edit, edit, edit a bunch, they're all updated. Every single one of them, super simple, updated to UCS colon, whatever it is that the tag detail is, right? Okay, let's just go through a couple other scenarios. Like hopefully you're starting to get like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. Yes, it is. So let's go back into TagGenie. Let's come into here and let's say that now I'm gonna do a couple of things. One, let's say I wanted to shorten the names even more. I talked about this in the training. I'm like, I don't need it to say start automation, so let's just take that off, stop automation. I don't need this, so we'll just take this off. I don't need this either, so we'll just take this off, right? So I'm just shortening the names. I hit update this tag group, and I didn't change the tag group name, I just changed the individual tags, and each one of those, I think 3 or 4 tags that I just updated, right? So if I hit refresh here, let it run, you can update and manage individual tags as well, and it'll just, what it does is it keeps the naming convention, so clicked, it wasn't clicked, now it's clicked rather than clicked to case study. It just keeps the tag naming convention dialed in. Now, one of the examples I talked about too was, well, what if I want to add some? So let's take this ultimate case study and let's say that we're like, you know what? I want to get a little bit more granular in how much people watched. So rather than just saying watched, because that means I watched what, 50%, 75, I don't know. So we're going to make this one say started watching. So I'm going to change the name of that tag. And then I want to add new tags to this tag group. And we're going to do one called watched 50%. And then we'll do another one called watched 90%. And then we're going to I just like to put these in order. They seem to flow a little bit better. So we'll do like this, right? Opted in, click, started watching. That would make more sense. watch 50%, watch 90%. So it's going to change the name and then create these two new tags. So let's go update this tag group. We'll let it do its syncing thing there with HighLevel. All right, done, good to go. We will refresh the page over here. And then we'll just search for UCS so I can just get those tags on the screen. And now I've got watch 50%, watch 90%, started watching. Right? So really easy to do any sort of managing and editing or whatever. Let me show you one other thing for creating tags. Then I'm going to show you how you can clean up tags that are already inside HighLevel. Okay. So let's say we want to do another case study. It's going to be like Ultimate Case Study Part 2, different client or whatever. Rather than having to go manually recreate all those tags, I can just come in here and be like, yo, make a copy of that one. And then I come up here, and this is just UCS2. Come down here, and I hit create this tag group. Let it sync up with HighLevel. And I've got all the tags that I need. And if I wanted to, when I was going to copy, I could actually change the details of the tags right there on the fly, but it just saves me time. Now I go refresh this, just saves me time in having to recreate or think about stuff I can copy, and then I can edit. So if I come up here and I search for UCS2, I've got all my tags for UCS2. And maybe, just as an example on deleting, maybe it's like, oh crap, I did that too early. We actually don't want that. So I come back in here, I'm like, hey, I want to remove them. I can choose to remove them only from TagGenie, but leave them in HighLevel, or I can come in and be like, actually, I don't even want them in HighLevel. Just be really careful whenever you use this. There's a reason why this thing comes up, because once you delete them, we can go create new tags, we can't replace them. So if you're using them and they're applied to contacts or they're in automations and workflows, like that will cause problems. So, but we just hit, like I just created it, so I'll just remove it, and now it's gone and out of HighLevel. All right, now, let me show you, the last thing I want to show you real quick is how easy it is to clean up tags that are already in HighLevel. So the ones that were in here, it's not what we want to look at. Here we go. The ones that are in here are, we need to take this away, and let's just refresh so we get rid of those UCS2 tags. All right, so I've got bought, didn't buy. This is part of that quote to close process, but notice how none of these are following this tag group : tag detail structure. I don't want to go click edit on each one of these, so here's what I'll do. Stop trying to get into Chrome. All right, so here's what I'll do. Come in here, I'm going to create a new tag group. I need to create one in here called Q2C. And then there are no button tags in there, so I'm going to add those. I need to create button tags. So this will be start. We're going to do mark as scheduled Calendly. So we have those, and then we're going to do stop. Because if I come over here and I look at these tags, I don't actually have any of my button tags in here yet, but I've got my history and my status tags. So when I just type it in, this tells TagGenie go create those tags. Now when I come into history, I don't want to create new tags. I just want to rename the ones that are already in there, and I want them to be linked into this tag group in TagGenie so I can manage them in the future. So now what I do is I come over here and be like, all right, well, let's just link to an existing tag. So we'll do requested call, and then we're going to do a new tag, and we'll search for scheduled call, and then we'll do a new tag, and we're going to search for sent quote. And then we're going to do a new tag, and we're going to search for bot, and then we're going to do a new tag, and we're going to search for didn't buy. And for any of you that are like, well, why don't you just let me pick a bunch of them at one time? Yeah, I'm on it. I'm aware of that as we're going through this, and as I've been using them, like that's one of the things that's on the docket for the developers to do. But anyway, so I got my tags linked in. So these tags are all tags that are already inside HighLevel. I just want to rename them, make them be a part of this tag group, and then same thing for status tags. I want to come in here and be like, yo, give me my future sales call tag, and then give me my TIO tag, thinking it over. And maybe even as a part of this, like I'm linked now, I can even just decide to just change this to TIO if I want it to be shorter, right? So now when I hit create this tag group, it's going to go rename these 6 tags and create these 3 tags. Okay, so we'll hit create this tag group. Let it do its thing, sync up with the HighLevels. Doom, da-doom, da-doom. And then we're going to jump over here and we'll hit refresh. And now what you'll notice is all of those tags have been renamed, and they're super clean and they're super simple. So let this thing load up. Q2C bot, Q2C didn't buy, Q2C future call. They all follow the proper tag naming structure. So if I get all of my tags on the page, now I can, if I go to sort and look at my tag names, I got Q2C together, I got UCS together. I would have UCS2 together if they were in there, right? So I've got all this stuff super clean. Just a couple other things. Really got to stop clicking on that Chrome thing. All right, a couple other things to be aware of. I'll let you get in and play around with the easy button. There's some functionality for that that's pretty cool, actually. But just so you're aware, we talked about if you wanted to do where you put tag type into the tag name, here's how you do it. You have some options when you do your tag naming structure. You can get fancy with your tag group stuff. I'll let you play around with that. We're not going to go over it right now. Tag detail settings, same thing. But if we come down here, we have this set up to use the tag types, but not in the tag names. But you can also be like, well, I actually want to put it like at the end of the name. And so if I come in here, after I've already got all my tags inside TagGenie, and I decide to change it, this is why I said it doesn't really matter which one you choose, just choose one. Because once I hit this button, it's going to go update all of my tag groups. And if I had 50 tag groups, it would go update all of my tag groups to add tag type. I don't have to do anything else. So we're going to let this sync up. And then when we get back into HighLevel, all of our UCS tags will now have the tag type at the end of the tag name, as well as our quote to close will have the tag type at the end of the tag name. And it just did it. All I had to do is just change that setting and it's just done. So now I come in here and I hit refresh. And now we've just updated every single tag in the entire system. So I've got history, status, button at the end. Again, if that's the way that you want to do your tag naming, you could change it to middle, it'll go change them all. Again, I don't like it. I think it's not that I don't like it. It's not necessary for me, and there's very few times where it is necessary. So just so that I can sleep at night, because I'm sort of anal retentive like this, I'm going to go back up and I want to set it back to the way that I want it. Even though I'm not using this application, I'll never look at it again after I stop recording this video in about 2 minutes. However, it'll help me sleep better at night. Okay, so hopefully a couple of things have happened. Number one, in the first part of this video, hopefully we got you really clear on how to organize your tags inside HighLevel. And you can see the value of how you'd organize them, and you have a tag naming structure that you can then go communicate to everybody on your team. Number one. Number two, hopefully you've also seen like, dude, TagGenie would make my life so easy. One, my life if I'm dealing with the tags, and then two, my life as I have other people being involved and I want to make sure that they name them appropriately. It's going to make it so easy. So again, here's how you get access to it, okay? You don't have to, but it's worth a try. Nothing bad will happen out of it, and the best case scenario is it saves you a ridiculous amount of time. So here's what you do. Go to taggenie.com. There'll be either a link in the description of this video or a button on the page, depending on where you're watching this. Go to taggenie.com, start a trial. You don't need a credit card or anything. You can just start, connect your HighLevel account. You're off to the races, go for it. I mentioned I would give you a coupon code. So after you play with it and you're like, okay, this is awesome, then you'll want to pick a paid plan. And if you want to save money on the paid plan, here's how you would do it. Go to taggenie.com/SS for smooth scaling. It's because you're coming from this video. So taggenie.com/SS. And there'll be a form there to fill out. All that's for is, hey, yo, I came from smooth scaling. Give me that coupon code that Brad mentioned. You'll fill it out. We'll send you the coupon code. And then the way it works is you'll have a trial. When you decide to go sign up for a paid plan, there'll be a spot where you put in your credit card. And on that page, there's a spot where you can put in your promo code to get the discount. So that's where you'll put in the promo code. So you don't need the promo code to play with the trial. Just go get a trial and play with it. And then once you like it, and you're like, hey, I want this thing to be around, and you want to save money, then go get the promo code. Or you can go get the promo code now, but then use the promo code when you go to upgrade to a paid plan. And like I said, the code will apply whether you're getting a plan level with TagGenie that is just for you and your own account, your own team, or if you have a business where you're helping multiple people, then go get a plan and you can connect. Like I just have my one HighLevel account in here, but I could have 10 or 15. And little spoiler, if you work with clients that use different CRMs, you can actually connect different CRMs. I just won't mention any of them because we're specifically talking about HighLevel in this video. So go to taggenie.com, start a trial. Go to taggenie.com/SS or just click the buttons or the links in the description or on the page below to get your coupon code. After you love it and you're ready to use it, then plug in the coupon code to save yourself some money up to, like I said, 66%. And this is already priced to be stupid cheap. This is just going to make it more stupid or cheap or whatever. Anyway, hopefully this whole training has been helpful. If this video, part 2 of the training, was helpful, what I'd love for you to do is like the video and then drop a comment about what really helped out of the video. It's super helpful for me and for other people to see what you picked out of it. Also, if you have any questions, drop those in the comments. I monitor the comments. I want to make sure I can help. So if there's anything that I didn't explain clearly, I'd love to address that for you. Let's see, what else? Oh, if you like this type of content where we talk about how to build a happy client factory, tags is just one part of that, so that ultimately you can build a smooth scaling business, subscribe to the channel. And also, you can go get on the email list. So if you go to smoothscaling.co, you can register for the Smooth Scaling newsletter, where we send out different stuff about how to build a smooth scaling business that will actually run the way that you want it to run. So you can go jump on that email list as well. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully I'll see you inside TagGenie. Hopefully I'll see you on the Smooth Scaling newsletter. And if not, it'll be then hopefully in a future video, or maybe we'll run into each other at some live event where we're forwarding our plans for world domination. So either way, happy tagging, and I'll chat with you soon.